Ever notice how being truly listened to can feel almost magical? It's more than just a nod or a polite, When someone really tunes in, we feel seen, recognized. That's intersubjectivity, the shared space where our experiences are validated and become real. Now, you might be thinking, isn't talking enough? Actually, it's this dance between expression and recognition that shapes who we are. Without that balance, our sense of self can feel shaky, even invisible. Let me tell you, the desire to be understood isn't just sentimental. It's a basic psychological need, as crucial as food or shelter. That's how listening stops being background noise and becomes the very foundation of our identity. Let me ask you this. When was the last time a conversation changed your mind or even your mood? Our lives aren't solo projects, they're collaborations. Psychologists call this co-authorship, and it means our sense of self emerges through dialogue. Now, imagine if your key relationships were one-sided, with all talk and no recognition. Without that reciprocity, we starve emotionally. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself, shows our interactions literally shape us, sculpting our emotional and cognitive wiring. So, every exchange isn't just chatter, it's mutual construction. The conflict? When we don't get to contribute or aren't recognized, our self-worth quietly erodes. The resolution? Seek conversations where your voice and your listening matter equally. Have you ever shared a feeling only for someone to dismiss it? You shouldn't feel that way. It's bewildering, right? Active listening is more than hearing words. It's about affirmation. When acceptance is missing, we create a split, a public self and a private, even disavowed self. This isn't just a theory psychoanalyst Harry Stack Sullivan called the hidden part the not me. The setup is longing for connection, the conflict is invalidation, and the resolution, striving for environments where your inner experience can surface safely. Because, let's face it, what stays unshared can fester, warping self-esteem. So, next time you're tempted to brush off someone's feelings, remember, you could be fueling a lifelong divide within them. Have you noticed how some kids walk into a room with confidence, while others shrink into the background? The secret often lies in early listening. Attachment theory tells us that responsive parenting builds secure attachment, a fancy way of saying, I matter. The setup, a child's need for recognition. The conflict, parents who are distracted, anxious, or imposing their own hopes. The resolution, attuned listening, responding to a child's cues, not just their words. Let me share. The listened to child becomes secure, creative, and resilient. Meanwhile, the ignored or misunderstood child adapts by hiding or performing. So whether you're a parent or mentor, remember that listening is the invisible scaffold beneath healthy self-respect. Did you know babies as young as 2 months are already working on their sense of self? Developmental psychologist Daniel Stern talks about the emergent self, that dawning awareness of being an individual. But here's the twist. It blossoms in dialogue. The setup is a baby's cries. The conflict is whether those signals are met with attuned response or indifference. The technical terms here, attunement and mirroring, are just ways of describing how a parent's smile or soothing voice reflects back the child's emotions, shaping early self-image. If those signals are ignored, children begin to doubt not just their importance, but their reality. The resolution, consistent, responsive listening plants the seeds for lifelong self-worth. Let's fast forward what happens when we grow up lacking this foundational recognition. Maybe you've known someone who's hesitant to share their true feelings, even with close friends. Carl Rogers called this the tension between self-actualization and the need to please. The setup, a childhood of missed connections. The conflict, a split between the authentic and the false self. The technical twist here is repression, the mind's way of burying unwelcome feelings. But here's the good news. Adults can heal these old divides by seeking out empathic listeners and learning to express themselves safely. It's not too late to rewrite your narrative. Ask yourself, where am I not being heard? And what would change if I were? That's the beginning of reclaiming your full self. Picture a parent and a baby. The baby grins, and the parent beams back. That's attunement, a real-time emotional connection that goes beyond words. Clinical studies show even infants crave this synchrony. But what if the parent is distracted or overbearing? The setup is the child's bid for connection. The conflict is parental misattunement. The technical term here, intersubjectivity, means two minds meeting and understanding each other's inner worlds. When that fails, anxiety creeps in, a direct link to attachment insecurity. The resolution is as simple as it is profound. Tuning in, matching energy, and responding empathically. Whether with your own kids or colleagues, attunement is the secret sauce in every strong relationship. Ever watched a toddler slap a parent's face only to be scolded for aggression when they were just exploring? Misattribution, assigning the wrong motive, can create lifelong confusion about intentions. The setup is innocent curiosity. The conflict is being misunderstood. This isn't just for babies. In offices, misread intentions spark unnecessary friction. The technical term projection applies here, seeing our own fears in others' actions. The result? People internalize false narratives about themselves. Now, you might wonder, isn't this just overthinking? Actually, decades of research show even adults shy away when their inner motives are repeatedly misjudged. The fix? Ask, don't assume. Let curiosity lead, and watch authenticity blossom. Have you heard of the still face experiment? Picture this. A caregiver suddenly goes expressionless, ignoring their baby's attempts to connect. The setup? Expectation of mutual engagement. The conflict? Sudden social void, triggering distress. This response isn't limited to infants. Adults, too, wilt in the face of emotional unresponsiveness. The technical term is affect regulation, our ability to manage feelings depending on others' cues. When those cues vanish, anxiety and withdrawal follow. The lesson here? Even a brief lapse in responsiveness can leave lasting emotional bruises. So, next time you notice someone checking out mid-conversation, remember, their silence might echo far deeper than you think. Let me pose a question. Why do some kids and adults reach out for help while others withdraw into silence? Empirical studies in developmental psychology show a simple truth. The listened to child expects and seeks supportive relationships. The setup, a moment of need. The conflict, fear of rejection versus hope for understanding. Social referencing, watching others' reactions to learn appropriate behavior, proves that being consistently heard builds the courage to speak up in tough moments. The resolution? Practicing active, empathic listening so that others feel safe to share. Whether in a schoolyard or a stressful job, the foundation remains the same. Listening births the confidence to connect. Mutuality is one of those words we throw around, but how often do we really live it? Think of a time you just wanted to share a silly meme or a deep worry with someone who got it. The setup is desire for shared experience. The conflict is when sharing feels one-sided or transactional. Ruth Ellen Josselson called this the space between us. Not just being heard, but co-experiencing life. The technical term mirroring refers to this empathic feedback loop. The resolution, make space for both giving and receiving in conversation. Because when we share laughter, pain, or the mundane, we weave the invisible threads of trust and belonging. Why do some people clam up, while others seem to overshare? The answer often lies in their history with being listened to. The setup, a yearning for understanding. The conflict, fear born of past dismissals or ridicule. Technical terms like repression and defense mechanisms describe how we hide parts of ourselves to avoid pain. Yet, as Anthony Storr noted, solitude can become a refuge, but often it's a cover for wounds left by unhearing ears. The resolution? Practicing gentle, gradual self-disclosure, first to yourself, then to trusted listeners. Remember, vulnerability is the birthplace of intimacy. Taking small risks to share can transform isolation into connection and pain into purpose. Now, you might be asking, so what can I do today to become a better listener? Here's your actionable roadmap. First, identify someone who needs your attentive ear and consciously set aside your agenda. Second, notice times when you fill silence with distractions. Ask why. Third, gently call out, with kindness, the moments when you feel misunderstood. The setup, the urge to improve. The conflict, old habits and social noise. The resolution, intentional, empathic listening, suspending judgment, mirroring emotions, and responding to what's truly being said. It's not just about helping others. You're enriching your own sense of purpose and agency. Start small and watch your connections and your own self flourish.